Sailor M591 here. So, what can we do while we're all stuck at home during this pandemic? I know, let's boil some water. But first, before we do that, I want to give you a bit of an update on that carbon fiber mat stove that we made that had that rather interesting initial run on the test. Needless to say, though, it didn't work out very good. So after it was over, I thought, I have nothing to lose, so why don't I just take this apart and see if there's something that can be done to fix it. And so that's what I did. And if you've ever tried to take one of these things apart once they've gotten hot and kind of stuck together, it's a bit of a challenge, but I got it apart. And as I was looking at the carbon fiber felt, I thought, you know, it just needs to get a little thinner. It doesn't need to have as much. And I wanted to see if I could tease it apart a little bit. And I could. And this is a little piece of scrap. And I hope you can see, it's pretty thick here. And so what I did was I just kind of started, and I just started pulling it apart, you know, kind of right down the middle. And as you can see, it's separating really easily. And so that's what I did. And I got that all the way done. And here's the half that I had left. And as you can see, that's a lot thinner than the other piece I just showed you. I put the other half in the stove again, and it worked a lot better. In fact, the performance of this stove was markedly different compared to both the Trangia, the plain stove, and the stove with the fiberglass wick in it. And I have some thoughts about that, and I'll share more of that with you when we get to testing that stove. But today we're going to start with basically a control group. And that control group is going to be my Trangia. The Trangia is going to be the standard, if you will. And so we'll base kind of performance and everything off of that as a comparison. Okay, so we're back, and I've kind of got things set up. What I've got here is the Trangia. This is the Esbit 5-piece Trekker set. It's the set I've been using, the cook kit I've been using, and so I'm just going to use it on all of the tests so that we have something that's the same across the board. And then I have a thermometer with a probe, and I have 2 cups of water in the pot that is at 62 to 63 degrees. It's kind of changing. I've got the temperature set to 211. Now, I know everyone says, but water boils at 212. It does at sea level. We're not at sea level. We're about 600 feet above sea level, and at 600 feet above sea level, water usually boils at about 211 degrees. So I've got it set there. So first things first, let's weigh the Trangia and just empty and see how much it weighs. And I'll be doing this in grams. And so let me put it on here. And it is 65 grams empty. Now I'm going to put in 40 mLs of heat. And with 40 mLs of heat, it weighs 94 grams. And I'm going to put that in the holder, and we'll move the scale out of the way. Now then, let me light this. And we'll put the pot on, and we'll start the timer, and we'll see how we do. Okay, we're coming up on 8 minutes, 30 seconds. We're up to 195 degrees, and so we'll just kind of follow this the rest of the way out. I hope the camera's picking it up, but you can see some flames starting to lick outside of these vents here. And you can hear it starting to make sounds. And we're almost there. So we'll say 9 minutes and 30 seconds to come to a boil. Let me snuff this out. And after everything cools off, we'll see how much fuel is left and figure out how much fuel it burned to bring it to a boil. Okay, boil test number 1 is done. Boil test number 2 is about to begin. Put 40 mLs of heat in, and we'll see how we do. Water temperature is 63 degrees. That's room temperature here. I'm going to get this timer started, and I'll be back once it's boiling. Okay, we're coming up on 198 degrees at 8 minutes and 30 seconds now, on our way to 211, which is our boiling point at this altitude. I don't think I mentioned, and I probably should, that we're using 2 cups of room temperature water on each one of these tests. 2 cups is generally considered standard for reconstituting a freeze-dried meal or something like that. So it's kind of become the norm for testing. And we can hear it making some noise. Almost there. Nine minutes and 20 seconds. So our second boil test is 9 minutes and 20 seconds. Let me snuff this out. All right, this is the third boil, the final boil. 2 cups of water, room temperature, which is 62 degrees, going to 211 degrees. We're calling that boiling at our altitude. Have 40 mLs of heat, putting it in the Trangia. And we'll get that lit. Get our Esbit cook kit going here. And we'll be back when it comes to a boil. Okay, coming up on 8 minutes, 50 seconds, 207 degrees. On our way to 211. All right, 9 minutes, 15 seconds, 14 seconds, something like that. And we have a boil. So let me snuff this out.